check 1, 2, 3.
brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. If you quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here for the 9th round of the Formula 1 League here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. And we're at the Red Bull Ring, as you may be able to see. We're in Austria. We're in the mountains for this one. This is set to be an absolutely fantastic round of racing. The Red Bull Ring always throws up some of the most exciting and closest racing. It's going to be a slipstream battle. It's going to be a battle of who can have the best straight line speed and who can keep themselves in there in the mix and fighting for the wins and the podiums here. My name's Andy, as you may recognise, and I'm by myself in the box tonight, but I'm by no means by myself out here tonight, as we've got 20 cars. We've got a full grid here for this 9th round of the season. And for a bit of perspective here, we got on the left-hand side of your screen the current top 10 in the championship standings as it stands at this point in the season. So we got Aldrich Avist leading the championship. He sits on 137 points, and he leads by 25 points currently over the reigning champion Joram, who sits in second place on 112 points, should I say. Big Weir sits in third in the standings, despite not being a regular driver for this season. Is actually sat in high flying in the title at the moment. 76 points, is a little way behind the two leaders at this point. It already looks like it's going to be a two-horse race between Aldrich Avist and Joram, but early doors yet, we never know. Finn is Magfire, and he sits fourth in the standings. He's missed a couple of races, so fair play to him for being as high up as he is. Dub Bay in fifth in the standings, not here this week by the looks of it. Little Greavy sits in P6 in the standings on 60 points. Currently also here tonight as well. Missed a couple of races this season as well, but Little Greavy currently up in P2 at the moment at this early stage of this session. You've got Bennett LCFC in 7th in the standings, moving up the order a little bit over the last couple of rounds. The two-time champion of the OG Liga XL. He could even be a three-time champion now. I don't know. I might be wrong on that one. He could be a three-time champion of the XL OG League now. I haven't been on there for a little while. But we've got Game for Life in 8th place in the standings on 37 points. Ocon on Hungaroring is actually retired from the championship, as he couldn't make it regularly week in, week out due to work commitments. So unfortunate there. And Red top 10 in the championship so far. Rednass is here tonight as well, but currently sat in the pits as it stands at the moment. But that's the top 10 of the championship at the moment so far in this season. And there is the leaderboard as it stands in this session so far. So it's Kevin Gibbons currently leading the way in this session, making his debut as a reserve tonight here at Motive. Never seen Kevin Gibbons out on the track before, but currently doing a very good job on the medium tyres. No mean feat doing a lap time like that on the mediums. The mediums obviously the slower tyre compared to the soft. Having said that, around a track like this, the difference, the golfing class between the two tyre compounds, probably not the same as what you would expect ordinarily. So it's not going to make too much of a difference, as we see GGJPS also reserves here tonight, going to the top of the leaderboard there. So 104.4, currently the fastest time in this session as it stands. Just going to double check that our audio is working and that you can hear us on the stream, as I know that's been a problem before. I think you can hear us. Fingers crossed you can. It'd be a disaster if you can't, but I'm pretty sure, 90% sure that you can hear us right now. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. But GGJPS currently the provisional pole sitter ahead of Kevin Gabors. You got Game for Life in third, as Game for Life just wiped out some advertising hoardings there coming up towards turn 2. Gets well out of the way of some oncoming traffic that's coming up the hill. You got Little Greavy in 4th place at the moment on his outer lap. Big Weir, Bennett and Nembidic all in the pits at the moment. Penguin Dude's out there on a lap. Penguin Dude started to become a bit of a regular this season. Obviously had to pull out of the championship full time, as he wasn't always able to make the races. Penguin Dude, a former admin and coordinator at the Formula 1 League. Great to have Penguin Dude out on the track whenever he can make it. It's always good to see him out on track. Was a big part of the F1 and indeed the admin team here at Motive, and Stewart's panel, what it was at the time. He set up a really cool system where drivers can put in their inquiries, and it automatically, he basically configured a Discord bot to be able to do all the work for us, basically. So yeah, Penguin Dude, absolute genius, and out there on track at the moment. As we got Enmorph coming around the first corner here. He's gone top of the leaderboard by 0.4 of a second, so pretty solid gap there between Enmorph and GGJPS at this point. Just noticing we've got a little bit of latency issues here. I think we might be, the Ethernet cable is plugged in, so we shouldn't have any problems. I mean, the quality is actually alright, but it just seems to be struggling to keep up a little bit. It's actually the PlayStation stream that's struggling. I'm just having a look here at the, actually it looks alright, to be fair, it looks alright. It's just little bits here and there, it just seems to be struggling to keep up at points. Let's have a look at the frames drop, see if we're dropping any frames. We are actually dropping frames. So I tell you what, let's adjust the bitrate a little bit, see if we can sort that out, because that is struggling ever so slightly here. Not too badly, but it is certainly not ideal. So let's just adjust the frame rate a little bit, and hopefully we should be okay. So yeah, we just adjusted the frame rate now to 2,500, so hopefully that should be manageable for my internet to be able to handle. We'll keep an eye on that as it develops, but yeah, that should hopefully have put an end to any issues that we've had there. So currently 8.5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session at the moment. I want to say a big warm welcome to everybody watching live on stream at the moment. If you guys like what you see, please do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already. If you want to get involved in the action, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com, as well as we can see Enworth, the provisional pole sitter, coming into the pits for the time being. Kevin Gaboa's currently out there at the moment. Has just put the soft tyres on, so clearly reckons that he hasn't got the best out of his car on those mediums, and has now put the red marked faster soft tyres on. And let's see what Kevin can do here, as he's just coming through the middle sector at the moment in the Williams. Kevin and GGJ both making their debuts here tonight at Motive, so strong performance from both of these two so far in this session. We've got Big Weir out there at the moment on track. We've got Magfire and Game for Life in the pits, but let's just stay on with Kevin. Okay, he's coming into the pits, so actually no, we probably made the wrong decision by staying on with him there. But GGJ just coming up towards turn 2 at the moment, out of the pits. You've got Big Weir on a flying lap. Let's keep an eye on Big Weir here. He's coming towards the end. Coming into the pit, so he is pit bound there. We got a Red Bull coming through the final part of the lap. That's Raki coming up towards the line. What can Raki do here? Stays in P16 for the time being, doesn't improve as much as he, I'm sure, would be liking to at this point. Nonetheless, we might try and lift the bit rate up a little bit in a moment, because I think I might have gone a bit, well, it is struggling actually, to be fair. Well, it's not, I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, it shouldn't really be struggling. It's not even that high anymore. I've really put it down by quite a bit. It's not struggling as much as it has done in the past. It's been a lot worse than this before. But slightly worrying times right here. Hopefully that sorts itself out. But nonetheless, Aldrich Abbas, who's gone provisional pole position by 1/10 of a second, so it's very tight still at the top of this order, but Aldrich Abbas slightly quicker than Enworth at this point. The picture is a little bit pixelated here on the stream at the moment. I think it's a combination of the two. It's a combination of my PlayStation stream and the actual OBS stream. Seems to be, I don't know, it's just not really 100% at this point. Again, we're just playing this by ear and hoping that it can just get through this and sort itself out. It is really dipping. And this is not what we want at all, obviously. We want to be showing crystal clear action. We don't want to be seeing lag and drop frames everywhere. Certainly not the ideal situation at all. So just bear with us here, guys. I think it should hopefully be sorting itself out. It's just, it seems to be picking up at points, and then it just starts dropping again for a couple of seconds, and then it's back up for a minute, and then it's down again. It's just up and down and up and down. I'm just looking at my OBS screen, and there are moments where the bitrate is okay, and then there's moments where it's just plummeting. There we go, red splotch. Now it's amber, now it's red, now it's amber, now it's Now it's green. Nope, no. It's back to orange. Now it's red. Oh. Yellow, green, yellow, red again. Yeah, it's just all over the gap at the moment. This is really annoying. This is really annoying. I'm just stumped. This is so annoying. I dare not look to see if the stream's up or not. Alright. Here we are anyway, guys. We're about to go racing for the 9th round of the Formula 1 League here at Motive, and hopefully the internet's just stopped messing around now. About 10 minutes, I think it usually is, when Virgin do this thing that they do. I don't know why they do it, but it seems like this kind of thing happens late in the evening, so I don't know. I don't know why it's happening or what's going on, but fingers crossed that's the only disruption that we're going to get throughout the course of this stream. I don't really want to look to see, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Look, if it's in and out, it's in and out. There's nothing that we can do about it. I'm just going to keep commentating. I'm just going to keep talking, and whatever we get of the race itself is what we get, and that's that, and it is what it is. Here we are anyway, championship standings coming into this 9th round of the season. It's Aldrich Avis leading away on 137 points from Joram in second on 112. You've got Big Weir in P3 on 76 points, followed by Magfire in 4th on 75. His Discord name is obviously Finn. You then got Derby Bay in 5th in the standings on 66 points, followed by Little Greavy in 6th on 60. Bennett in 7th place on 39 points, followed by Game for Life in 8th on 37. You got Ockman on Hungary in 9th in the standings on 32 points, and Rednas rounding out the top 10 in the championship on 29 points. So we have got a wet race in store for us here at the Red Bull Ring. Just going to quickly double check that our stream is on maximum quality. Might not make much of a difference, to be fair, but we're going to try and do everything we can to make sure that we've got a crisp looking stream as much as possible. Nonetheless, here we are anyway. We're coming up with our forming on the grid here, getting ready to go lights out for the Austrian Grand Prix here at Motive. Round 9, Season 3 here on F1 2021. Aldrich Avis to be lining up on the right side. We've got a wet race here for this one. Wet conditions at the Red Bull Ring always seem to make it a little bit more of a crash fest in terms of not recent history, but in terms of when the Red Bull Ring was the A1 ring. It always was exciting to say the least, but here we are now forming up on the grid. Once the last car pulls up, the lights will start to come on, the engine revs will rise, and we will be moments away from the start. Here we go, you can hear the engine revs going up to their full velocity here. Lights are on, 5 lights now, and it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start from Aldrich Avis, gets away nicely. Enworth likewise trying to have a look into turn 1, not close enough. We can see Big Weir's had a bit of a poor start, down to 5th place. We've got a McLaren looking around the outside. Game for Life goes a bit wide, gets away with it. Ahead of Horatio, there's Kevin Gaburs dropping down the field down to P10. He's not at the best of starts there. Little Greavy and the Greave, the two brothers, are side by side up towards turn 2. Joram's got ahead of Polish My Balls after a poor qualifying. Clarky Boy, Red Nasraki, then Vidic and Chicken Win at the back of the field. But it's Enworth who's managed to get the jump here on Aldrich Avis coming up towards turn 2. Magfire there in 3rd place, ahead of GGJ, who's looking to the outside coming down towards turn 3. Can GGJ get this one done. He's going to look to go around the outside here of Magpie. Magpie holding it up the inside there, still side by side, and Magpie manages to get that back up into 3rd place. Big Weir there in 5th ahead of Bennett, who's got ahead of Game for Life up into 6th place. You've got Horatio ahead of Kevin Gaboas. There's Little Greavy, Mark Bow the Grieve down to P12. In fact, the Penguin Dude has lost out to Joram there. Joram up into 13th place down the inside of Louder Curve. You've got Polish My Balls, Clarky Boy, Red Nass there ahead of Nemvillage, Raki and Chicken Wing. Oh no, Chicken Wing's round. Chicken Wing has lost the car and he spins it back facing the right way once again, but he's lost a lot of time there. Enmorph and Ultra Gav is still out the front ahead of Magpie. GGJ, you got Big Weird Bennett, Game for Life. There's Horatio ahead of Kevin. There's Little Greavy, Mark Bow the Grieve, Joram, Penguin Dude, Polish My Balls, Clarky Boy there ahead of Red Nass, Nemvillage, Raki and Chicken Wing at the back in P20 in this race. But there's the whole field coming up the hill. As we can see, you've got Kevin Gaboas looking down the inside of Horatio, can't get it done just there, holds position for the time being. What's going on up the hill though? You can see Kevin getting a lovely run up the hill, and he's going to now pick him off here coming in towards turn 2. Kevin Gaboas with a lovely move there, and he gets himself into 8th place. Can Horatio come back at him? He's going to try it, isn't he? He's going to look back around the outside, but Kevin manages to complete that one then. And so we look further up the field here. We got Big Weir getting ahead of GGJ up into 4th place. Can GGJ return the favour? Coming down the hill into the braking zone towards turn 3. He's going to look, isn't he? As we see Big Weir going a little bit wide. Oh, bit of contact there between the two of them. As we saw them just lock wheels for a moment there, but they get away with it as Little Greavy's up into 9th place ahead of Horatio. Horatio losing positions, and Joram there in 11th place in this race at the moment has made a decent start to this race after a horror show of a qualifying session. There is no other word for it. Joram would have been disappointed with that one, but he's making up for it so far then. As we got Kevin there up into 7th, and oh, Game for Life's round. Game for Life's lost it, and he spins it back onto the track there, finds a little opening in the traffic and manages to get himself back facing the right way, but that's gone horribly wrong there for Game for Life. Joram has picked up another driver here up into 9th place. Horatio losing positions down to 11th. Mark Bow getting into P10 there ahead of Horatio. Now Horatio's got to defend from the Grieve, who's looking to the outside as we're coming down towards turn 1. What is going to happen here is we can see the Grieve just trying to squeeze around the outside, but now he's left himself vulnerable to Penguin Dude, and Penguin Dude's going to try and get this run up towards turn 2. As we can see Game for Life getting ahead of Polish My Balls. That's because Polish My Balls is in the pits. That's why that one happened. But now we got the Grieve looking down the inside of Horatio. Can he make this stick? Oh, he's going to squeeze him, as there's now side by side on the exit of the corner. Nothing at all separating the two wheels there, as you've got Penguin Dude there watching this unfold in front of him, hoping to get involved. The Grieve now looking down the inside of Horatio. Oh, once again a bit of contact between the two of them. These two can't get enough of each other right now, as the Mark Bow is just in front of these guys, but the Grieve managing to just about complete that move on Horatio. Down towards turn 4 they come. Horatio looking back to the outside of the Grieve, and he's not giving this one up. Is Horatio? He's sticking in there. He is gritting his teeth, and he's really fighting the Grieve, but the Grieve is going to try and muscle him out here, but the Horatio is still there. Unbelievable stuff from Horatio. Indian has to back out of it, as now we can see Penguin looking to the outside of Horatio. Not quite close enough to make it happen in towards the final sector of this lap, but great racing there from Horatio. Never say die. Kept going, kept believing that he could hold on ahead of the Grieve, but the Grieve managed to pick him off eventually up into 11th place. And we see Aldrich Gavis has made a move for the lead here on Enmorph up towards turn 2. The two leaders have managed to ditch the rest of them, but he's looking back down the inside here. Is Enmorph, and he's going to try and come back at Aldrich Gavis here. He goes a little bit deeper to the corner, but he manages to complete the move brilliantly there. These two having a great little tussle out the front. These two are absolutely head and shoulders above the rest of them right now. Big Weir has gone up into 3rd place ahead of Magpie. This is still a train of cars battling it out over what is 3rd place in this race. Down towards turn 3 they come. Magpie a little bit too far back to make anything happen. There's GGJ Bennett there in the background of this. He's got Kevin there in 7th ahead of Little Greavy. Joram up into 9th place. Mark Bow, the Grieve, Horatio, Penguin Dude, Bracky. There's Game for Life running in 15th place. Chicken Wing a long way behind ahead of Clarky Boy. Those two have had a nightmare of a start to this race, as has Red Nass and Men Village. As we see Polish My Balls is out of this race here on lap 3, so disaster for Polish My Balls. He is retired from this race very, very early on. On lap 4 the leaders are on. As Enmorph is now coming around the last corner here with Aldrich Gavis in tow. Out onto the start finish straight they come here to complete their 4th lap onto lap 5. Double zero flags through sector 1 and 2, not sure why. But these two continuing to go at it out the front. Also a big battle going on between 3rd, 4th, 5th 6th, 7th, 8th. It's all throughout the midfield here. It's going from the podium spots all the way down to the midfield, this battle here. But let's go back to the two leaders here. Enmorph and Aldrich Avist looking to really take each other on here, as Enmorph is now taking the fight to the championship leader. Aldrich Avist looking to try and gain big points on Joam, who sits currently 25 points behind him in the championship, as Joam looking to try and make this move on Little Greavy. He goes a little bit deep through turn 2 though. Oh no, as we see, Bennett's lost it. Bennett is in the wall there on the exit of turn 2, and he's going to have to wait for a few drivers to come past him here. Joam's got ahead of Little Greavy, or has he? They're still side by side down towards turn 3, and Little Greavy manages to hold it on for 7th place there, just about. Joam with no answer to him, couldn't get a cut back as he goes a little bit onto the grass there. Joam not having the ideal situation in any way, shape or form there. Polish My Balls has left the session, unsurprising, as he's retired from the race. Enmorph and Aldrich Avist still going at it out of the front as they're coming into the final couple of corners here on lap 5 of the race. But Joam continuing to cut his way through the field, but he couldn't get ahead of Little Greavy there. Little Greavy managing to weather that storm for the time being then. But absolutely brilliant action so far here on the Motive channel at the moment. Enmorph and Aldrich Avist still showing the way. Big Weir's actually matching these two now. Now they seem to be battling, and now Big Weir's got himself into some clean air. He seems to be definitely more than a match for the pace of the two leaders out the front. Magfire running in 4th place is starting to fall off the back of Big Rear a little bit. He's got GGJ now looking all over the back of him up the hill towards turn 2. Can GGJ send one down the inside here? He's going to have to go around the long way here, because Magfire's going to defend that inside line. A bit of a late defensive move there from the Alpine, but the AlphaTauri with no option but to just tuck in behind him for the time being. Kevin there in 6th place just behind these guys. You've got a couple of seconds back to Little Greavy running in 7th place. Joam still all over the back of the Little Greavy as they come down towards turn 3. Marbo there in 9th place ahead of the Grieve. You got Horatio still all over the back of Penguin Dude at the moment, as you can see. Sorry, Horatio still all over the back of the Grieve, should I say. Penguin Dude had second, further back off of these guys in 12th place. Bennett, Game for Life, Raki, Clarky Boy still going ahead of Chicken Wing. Nemvidic and Redna still out on track at the moment, but GGJ setting the fast step of the race. He's really coming for Magfire at the moment. These guys now starting to get into a bit of a rhythm and not falling off for the two leaders, Enmorph and Aldrich Avist, by as much as they were. Big Weir running in 3rd place, but he doesn't seem to be able to close the gap to the two leaders at this point. Aldrich Avist fastest lap of the race there from P2. What can either of these drivers do behind them? You see Big Weir coming over the line. Magfire still weathering heavy pressure here from GGJ as they're coming into turn 1 here for the 7th time in this race. GGJ still looking. He's going to try and get this run up towards turn 2. Can he use the slipstream here to make the move into turn 3? He might have a chance. Turn 2 even, sorry, should I say. I keep saying turn 3, turn 2. I keep getting the two mixed up. But we see GGJ looking to the outside. Magfire once again defending that inside line. This is allowing Kevin to creep ever closer to these guys as they battle it out. But Magfire for the time being keeping on to this 4th place here in this race. JR saying, I like the stream if you give us a smile. Sorry mate, can't, no can do for that one. Just joking, I'm smiling, I definitely am smiling right now, I promise. You raced last night, Andy? Yeah, I did. I was a terrible race last night at Laguna Seca in the GT3s at Simplay. But still these guys battling it out right now. Enmorph and Aldrich Avist separated by half a second. You got GGJ pretty close to the back of Magfire still not able to do anything. Kevin now actually closer to the GGJ than GGJ is to Magfire. Joam sizing up his victim here in the shape of Little Greavy, but he still hasn't been able to find a way through. He's been on him for a few laps now, but just no opportunities seem to be presenting themselves at this point. As Bennett is in the slipstream here of Penguin Dude down towards, or up towards turn 1, shall I say. In the meantime, it looks as though Aldrich Avist has managed to make the move on Enmorph here. Back up into the lead of the race. Can Enmorph come back at him? He's going to use the slipstream down towards turn 3. They come and they're side by side into the braking zone. Enmorph there, back down the inside. Is he going to run Aldrich Avist out of road? No, he's going to give him the space, and Aldrich Avist is still there on the outside. These guys coming up on some traffic here. They're going to have to be wary of this traffic, but Aldrich back down the inside for turn 4. This is great racing from these drivers here. Aldrich and Enmorph giving us a great show out the front, and Aldrich Avist back up into the lead. Enmorph getting a little bit loose onto the curb there. Oh, he almost wins it there. He did really well to keep onto that one. That's given him just a moment to regroup, and it's allowed Aldrich Avist to just pull away a little bit. Now 1.3 the gap between Aldrich Avist and Enmorph. GGJ still on the back of Magfire, but these guys have dropped off of Big Weir by quite a bit. Big Weir's closing a little bit on Aldrich Avist and Enmorph over the course of this lap. Down to those two at the front, battling it out. Kevin's fallen off of GGJ ever so slightly over the course of this lap, as we now got a VSC, and the pack's now all going to have to just slow down a little bit and take a moment here. It's a bit of a breather for these drivers to just get themselves back in the game a little bit. A VSC here on lap 9 of the race. Battles going on throughout the field. Wherever you look, there's something going on. Magfire keeping GGJ at bay. Kevin dropping off of these guys a little bit. Joram's still pressuring Little Greavy. And you've got Horatio, Penguin Dude and Bennett going at it here. These guys fighting it out over 11th, 12th and 13th places here as they're up the hill into turn 2 for the 9th time in this race. Still under VSC, so they've still all got to be wary that they can't push just yet, because currently they're still under a little speed limit here. But Aldrich Avist, oh, the big news here. Aldrich Avist has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. Disaster for him. Joan will be watching this and will be grinning from ear to ear seeing that one, because that's now going to be an opportunity for him to maybe close the gap to his championship rival. Aldrich Avist coming into this with a 25-point lead in the standings. He's got to come in and get that done as soon as possible. He's taking the first opportunity to get that drive-through done, and that's Enmorph now in the lead of the race. So opportunity for Enmorph to maybe take his first win here on the Motive F1 League on a Friday night. You got Big Weir there now up into second place. GGJ into the final podium spot. There's Kevin Gaboas up into fourth. Magfire will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap for, I assume, a tyre change here. But the big news here is that Aldrich Avist coming into the pits for a drive-through penalty and re-emerges just behind his championship rival. So Joram there getting the jump on Aldrich Avist, and he'll be seeing that Mercedes in his rearview mirrors. Now, what can Joram do with this little bit of impetus? Can he keep him behind him and gain some points here over the course of this round? Lap 10 of 36 here at the Red Bull Ring for Motives F1 League, round 9 of the season for season 3 here on F1 2021 here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. It's Enmorph out the front with almost a 6-second gap at the moment over Big Weir. You got GGJ running in third place at the moment ahead of Kevin Gaboas. You got Little Greavy there in P5 ahead of Joam. Aldrich Avist there in 7th ahead of Mark Bow. You got the Grieve, Horatio Pendit there in 11th place ahead of Penguin Dude. Magfire, Game for Life, Raki, Clarky Boy in 16th place and then Village Redness and Chicken Wing running at the back at the moment. Joram though has in the back of Little Greavy as he has been for the last few laps. Doesn't be able to find a way through. He's now got Aldrich now pressuring him here as Joram's having to defend to the inside coming into the final couple of corners. Can Aldrich try and go drive around him here? As Horatio's got a 3-second time penalty here for multiple track limit warnings we're hearing there on the feed. But sector 3 double wave yellow flags, not sure why at this point. Joram though in a sandwich between Little Greavy and Aldrich Avist. It's not the situation he wants. I'm sure he'd rather be ahead of Little Greavy and pulling away from his championship rival, but now Aldrich's going to have the slipstream here coming up towards turn 2. No DRS down to the fact that we're driving in the wet conditions, but Aldrich's now looking to the inside of Joram. He's going to commit one down the inside and he's going to make that move. I think he's going to complete it there. Aldrich Avist managing to stick one on Joram. Joram though will get the run out of the turn 2 as they're now running up towards turn 3 here, but Aldrich Avist has managed to complete that move up into 6th place and Joram could do nothing about it. And now these two once again on the back of Little Greavy here, but that was a great move there from Aldrich Avist. Managed to make it stick and done a really good job there of getting himself into P6. Enmorph still leading this race by almost 6 seconds at the moment ahead of Big Weir. You got GGJ running in the final podium spot. Kevin Gaboas on the back of GGJ. Little Greavy and Aldrich Avist currently separated by absolutely nothing here, but Joram will be frustrated with having lost that position to his championship rival Aldrich Avist. These guys trying to put a lap on some traffic here, I think, by the looks of it, but GGJ into the pits here at the end of lap 11, and we've got Enmorph leading this race by almost 6 seconds. Aldrich Avist trying to put the pressure on Little Greavy now and do what Joram couldn't and get ahead of that car just in front of him. But you can see Aldrich's now got the run. He's got the slipstream here coming up towards turn 2. Now can he make this move stick here on Little Greavy? Little Greavy's going to try and fight it with everything he's got on the outside there, but I think that Aldrich's going to make that move down the inside. He does make that move and Joram might be able to capitalise on Little Greavy getting a slightly compromised run there out of turn 2. What can Joram do? I think he's not going to be able to make that happen, because unfortunately for him he had to get out of it a little bit, as he would have run into the back of Little Greavy had he kept it planted. So that's still Little Greavy keeping on to P5, but Aldrich Avist can now try and break away and put a bit of space between himself and Joram with Little Greavy in the middle of them now. This is now opportunity for Aldrich Avist to keep this to keep the points deficit to Joram how it is, but Enmorph currently leading by 5.5 seconds still in this race. Big Weir in second place. Kevin Gabors in that final podium spot, but he's got Aldrich Aviston, Little Groovy not far behind him at all, and Joram still hot on these guys' heels as they're coming around to complete lap 12 of the race. Let's have a look at the battle here for 8th place. The Grieve has got Horatio and Bennett pretty close behind him right now as they're coming out of the last corner out onto the start finish straight here. Can Bennett get himself a little bit further up the order here? He's looking all over the back of Horatio. He's got the slipstream. Is he going to look to make the move down the inside of turn 1? Thinks better of that one. Having a little look, trying to distract Horatio in the mirrors if he can. But Horatio holding firm. Bennett, though, has got a beautiful exit out of turn 1. And this could be the position here as he's got that slipstream now. Horatio may be defenseless to do anything here. Bennett now looking to the inside. Is he going to go lay on the brakes? No. Again, very cautious there. Bennett knows there's still plenty of time in this race. Oh, Horatio's lost it. Horatio's just had a bit of a half spin there, and Bennett seizes on that. But Bennett was hesitant onto the throttle as they got GGJ now. Who's GGJ's made a mistake as well. Did Horatio just lose it there because of GGJ in front of them making the mistake, which maybe just put him off ever so slightly? Whatever the case, Bennett up into 9th place ahead of both of them, and Horatio there in P10 just ahead of GGJ. I don't know what happened there to GGJ though, but he just seemed to get a little bit out of shape there coming out of the corner, and that put Horatio off a little bit, and Bennett gaining 2 positions in that little exchange there. Little Greavy and Joam still batting it out over 5th place, but they're losing time to Aldrich Avis. Aldrich has gapped these and is now on the back of Kevin, so Aldrich making some really strong headway here in this race. Hats off to him as he's brought himself back into this race really diligently over the last couple of laps. Chicken wing there, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits by the looks of it. Aldrich though still on the back of Kevin coming through turn 2 at the moment, but this is absolutely brilliant stuff out on track tonight. We're seeing some great action, and Aldrich Avis, I've got to say, what a job considering he had a drive through a couple of laps ago. It's easy to forget he had a drive-through penalty which dropped him about 15 seconds off of the lead. He's now only 10 seconds off of the leader Enmorph. He's currently trying to get himself back onto the podium spots. Aldrich class to the field at the moment, showing why he's the championship leader. Bennett in the meantime looks like he's made that move on the Grieve. He's managed to get the run out of turn 2. Is he going to hold it here down the hill? I think he is. That's Bennett up into 8th place. Joam is going to try and make the move around the outside Little Grieve, and he's completed that one. He's managed to get himself up into 5th place there. Finally Joam into some clean air. He's managed to make it stick there. Horatio looks like he's had a bit of a moment. He's lost out to GGJ and Magfire, so Horatio doing something wrong there, and he's now lost out a little bit. But Joam finally into some clean air. Now the question is, does he have the pace to try and go after Aldrich Avis? Aldrich struggling to clear Kevin at this point. Kevin looks to be more than a match for him at this point as they're coming into turn 1. They got some traffic just up ahead of him here in the shape of, I think that's Ned Vidic though, just up ahead of him. We see Redness there struggling, and Chicken Wing is round. Chicken Wing a lap down there, struggling on the exit of turn 3 as he's trying to get it back onto the track. Hopefully he can do so without being too much of a problem for the lead drivers. In fact, he's retired the car. Chicken Wing is out of the race, so he's DNF'd here from this race. That's such a shame there for Chicken Wing, but he will take no further part in this race then. But wow, this is unbelievable stuff here. We're seeing so much action right now. 7 of you watching here live on YouTube. Guys, if you like what you see, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel. As we can see, Aldrich has managed to get ahead of Kevin here, up into 3rd place. They're ghosting through the Alpine of Nem Vidic, but that is now Aldrich up into the final podium spot. He's only 10 seconds, only 9 seconds now off for the leader Enmorph. So Aldrich, since his drive-through penalty, has done absolute bits here in this race. He's coming into the pits by the looks of it. He's taking that pit entry line. Does Kevin do the same? No, Kevin's staying out, so he can now maybe try and get the overcut here. But Aldrich Avis coming into the pits for what I assume will be his one and only pit stop. Unless the track dries out towards the end, it should be a straight swap onto another set of intermediate tyres, and that will be good to go until the end. Unless the track dries out, who knows what the weather's going to throw up here. I don't think we're going to be seeing too much variance, though. I think it's going to be like this from here until the end of the race, but you never know. Never say never. Aldrich Avis could be undone by a little bit of strategy here, but Enmorph currently still out the front. 6 seconds is his gap at the moment over Big Weir. You got Kevin Gabos still running in P3 in the final podium spot. Joram starting to rear in Kevin a little bit over the last couple of laps or so. Not by much, but he's just gained a little bit over that last lap there. So what's Joram got here? Has he got anything left to try and challenge for these podium spots here in this race? Started at the back of the grid. It's been a solid comeback drive from Joram, but he doesn't seem to have the pace of his championship rival Aldrich Avis at this point. He just doesn't seem to have an answer for Aldrich. Aldrich seems to be by far and away the quickest driver out on track right now. I mean, he was battling out with Enmorph before, but since his drive through, he's absolutely stepped up to the plate. Enmorph here with a 6-second gap. He's keeping the gap around the same to Big Weir. These two matching each other, but Enmorph with that cushion definitely in cruise control at the moment out the front. Aldrich Avis trying to size up Mark Bowe, having just made his pit stop a few moments ago. He's now looking to try and pick up another driver. This could be maybe a bit of a bit of hope for Joram, the fact that Aldrich's got to carve his way through the traffic. We see Mark Bowe not making Aldrich Avis' life too difficult there as he's coming into the pits now. But I mean, this could be potentially where Aldrich Avis might face a bit of problems, because he's obviously got to come through the pack. These guys still got to make their pit stop. Guys like Little Gravy here still got to come in and make a pit stop, but Joram obviously has as well. And in fact, really, when you look at it, the gap between Joram and Aldrich Avis is 12 seconds. A pit stop here, I reckon about 17, 18 seconds. Aldrich Avis already in a position where he's going to come out at least 5 or 6 seconds ahead of Joram. So I think that Joram has got a real task on his hands. We see, is that that's a lap car, that's Nembidic. That's Nembidic getting a little bit loose there out of turn 3. Joram getting himself into some clean air ahead of the Alpine there. Enmorph still leading this race by 6 seconds ahead of Big Weir. Let's have a look back on the order and see what's happening with the Grieve here. The Grieve's got GGJ still pressuring him here, as GGJ's looking around the outside, looking to get the inside line for Lauder Curve. Having a look, as we can see somebody has lost it there in the background. That is Rednas there. In fact, I've been calling Nembidic the Alpine. He's in a Williams. I'm an idiot. I'm a complete idiot. I do apologise, Nembidic. But Rednas there losing the car out of turn 3 nonetheless. Back to the leader, Enmorph, who's just putting a lap there on a Ferrari. That is Clarky Boy there being lapped by the leader. He seems to be giving him a good battle though. Clarky Boy definitely giving him a run for his money, despite the fact that he's been lapped down. He's not giving up. He's certainly not giving in. And he wants to show that he's got the pace here as Clarky Boy, despite the fact that he didn't really get the start to the race that he would have wanted. The Grieve running in 8th place at the moment ahead of GGJ and Magfire. These guys separated by not very much at all. Up towards turn 2 they come here for the 18th time in this race. You've got Magfire looking to the outside of GGJ. GGJ's going to defend that inside line and hold on to it, holding firm, not making any mistakes there that Magfire can try and seize on. Magfire, though, lovely exit out of turn 2. Might have the slipstream, but I think GGJ's running a lower downforce setup than Magfire is, because despite having the slipstream, Magfire just can't seem to ring him in through this part of the track. It seems like GGJ's definitely got that car set up very nicely for these conditions and for this track. It's the type of conditions where I think actually a low downforce setup could, in a way, work out for you, because it's pretty much just straight lines, this track. There's 3 long straights, a couple of twisty corners like this, and then you've got the last couple of corners, but you've got 3 very long straights here at the Red Bull Ring. So low downforce is definitely the way to go, and at the moment you can see there GGJ just leaving Magfire for dead down those straights. You got the Grieve coming into the pits here at the end of lap 19 though, or lap 18 should I say, because the leader's on lap 19. So the Grieve there coming into the pits, presumably for another set of intermediate tyres. Aldrich Avis still running the leaders in here. He's obviously made his pit stop already, so he doesn't need to come in again. All of these drivers up ahead of him do need to come into the pits at some point throughout this race. Whether or not they're going to come in soon or leave it a little bit, we'll have to see. But Enmorph, Big Weir, Kevin, Joram and Little Grievy all need to come in for another set of inters, or maybe they'll try and chance it and do something else, possibly, who knows. But Aldrich currently 23 seconds off of the race leader, Enmorph, at this point. The win is definitely on for Aldrich Avis at this point. I would not rule it out at all. He's not got to do too much here in this race to win this one. Yes, definitely not out of the question. But it would take an unbelievable effort, as he obviously had that drive-through earlier on, which really set him back by quite a bit. Enmorph still in this race though. This is the man that they've all got to beat, and at the moment he's not making any mistakes. He's just keeping it consistent. He's keeping pumping those laps in. He's just put a lap there on somebody, that's Penguin Dude there, has just been lapped by the leader. But Enmorph done everything right in this race really since the start. Had a good battle with Aldrich Avis, was more than a match for him, and then Aldrich had that drive-through penalty which dropped him down the order. Since then Aldrich's been quicker than just about everybody, and he's been reeling in the leader. The gap's now down to under 22 seconds. I mean, it would, as I said before, it would take something monumental for both drivers. It would take an extreme effort for Aldrich Avis, that it would be just a nightmare of a second half of the race for Enmorph, for Aldrich to win this race. But never say never. As I said before, anything can happen. Nembidic, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We're just seeing there on the time screen, and he's out of the race. So did he maybe end up getting disqualified there? who knows, that was a hiccup. Morph into the pits here at the end of lap 20. We see Big Weir following him in. And Kevin here coming over the line to complete lap 20 of this race. 16 laps left to go. We're coming in towards the business end of this race. Enmorph, Big Weir, Little Greavy also coming into the pits as well, but Enmorph and Big Weir coming towards the end of the pit lane now, where they're going to feed out. You can see we got Enmorph actually. Aldrich has really made gains on Enmorph. Look at this, there's only 2 seconds now separating them. Aldrich Avist had a drive-through penalty. Well, I think it was lap 6 of the race. And he's only 2 seconds off for the net leader of this race. Unbelievable stuff here. Kevin and Joram will definitely fall behind Enmorph and Aldrich once they come in. So this is now the battle for the lead here. This is Enmorph versus Aldrich Avist for the win. Currently a couple of seconds separating these two. I don't know if Enmorph might have made a mistake. Possibly he did. And that's really cost him time here, as he's just putting a lap there on Raki, the Red Bull teammate of Joram, who's up in P2 but still yet to pit here in this race. But that's Enmorph there making his way through nonetheless. And Aldrich still continuing to reel in Enmorph at this point. This is the battle for the lead here, 3rd and 4th at the moment, but that will become 1 and 2 once these two, Kevin and Joram, come in to make their pit stops, which they've got to do at some point, because as we all know, there is a mandatory pit stop in Formula 1. So they need to come in and put a fresh set of inters on, or maybe if it dries out, who knows, they might chance putting the slicks on. We'll have to wait and see. But the gap between Enmorph and Aldrich Avist is now down to 1.5 seconds, so Aldrich continuing to really close in on the guys up ahead of him, and this is, as I said before, it's for the win between these two. Kevin seems to be gapping Joram. I think it's going to be quite close between Kevin and Big Weir for that podium spot. Joram not too far out of the podium chances. Yeah, he's definitely not out of that battle, but he needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, and he really needs to get his hammer down. Gap now stabilising between Enmorph and Aldrich Avist. It's not really coming down anymore. Aldrich seems to not be gaining as much. Enmorph has got it together, and maybe the reason why the gap was so small between them was possibly a mistake from Enmorph. Maybe allowed Aldrich to gain a lot of time in the space of a short couple of laps. But whatever the case, I mean, Aldrich certainly not reeling him in hand over fist at this point. Enmorph holding his own and matching Aldrich at this moment. In fact, maybe over the last couple of laps he's even been a bit quicker than Aldrich Avist. So possibly it was a mistake that brought the gap down to as much as it is, because Enmorph seems to be more than a match for the pace of Aldrich at this point, and now looking in the box seat for this win. 12 laps left to go here in this race. Kevin and Joram still to pit, as we said before. Enmorph and Aldrich both gaining on the two leaders, as Clarky Boy's got a 3-second time penalty. I want to say thank you to everybody watching the stream at the moment. If you are enjoying, please drop a like. Apologies if you joined us earlier on during the qualifying and were met with an absolute lag fest. I don't know what happened. The internet seemed to just decide to do all sorts of silliness for a brief moment, but Touchwood has sorted itself out now. God, I hope it has. Magfire in the pits though, and just coming out there in front of the Haas and the McLaren of the Grieve and Horatio. has crashed out of the race, and that has brought out a safety car. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, Bennett could have just inadvertently really shot his teammate Aldrich in the foot here, because that's going to mean that Kevin and Joram, well, that will definitely give Kevin, I reckon that's going to give Kevin a free pit stop. Possibly Joram as well. It's going to be close. What is it? The gap between Kevin and Aldrich. The timing screen, I think, is telling us lies there. Let me just count. Yeah, it's about 10 seconds. So that's about right there, actually, on the timing board between Kevin and Aldrich. At these speeds, can Kevin get himself in and out of the pits without losing 10 seconds of time to Aldrich Avis? That is the question here. Kevin might be able to come out having done his pit stop in the lead of this race. Here he comes into the pits now. Where is Aldrich Avis? He's just coming in towards the final penultimate corner here. Kevin is coming through the pit lane now. Aldrich's coming into the pits, so he's going to put a fresh set of inters on there. We're all going to come in for fresh set of inters, except Enmorph, who's gambling it. He's only got 4 lap old tyres as it is, so it's not too bad of a situation for him. Enmorph is going to stay out. He's going to be on 4 lap older tyres. They will be slightly inferior in terms of grip and pace to the other cars, but Enmorph chancing it. He's risking it for a biscuit, and he is still out on the track here in this race, so that is very interesting. Eight laps left in the race, but Enmorph leads ahead of Kevin. Kevin did put fresh tyres on. Big Weir chanced it, stayed out on the same tyres. He's gained a couple of positions as a result. Joram, Aldrich both on fresh intermediates, and Joram, crucially for him, in front of his championship rival once again. This time, can he make it stick? Can he make it count? Can he make the most of his track position? My private stream is lagging. Our OBS stream is now lagging again. Hopefully, that lag does not stick around. Here we are then, guys. We're back underway for the final 8 laps of the race. Enmorph leads up towards turn 1. It's pretty congested here, as we can see 3 wide into turn 1. Aldrich Avis lost out to Little Greavy there. Joam wide on the exit of the corner. Magpie getting ahead of Big Weir, as we can see Joam losing out now. Little Greavy and Aldrich Avis and Magpie, Big Weir as well. Mark Bow getting ahead of Joam. Joam's down to 9th place here on this restart. Disaster for Joam. Can he hold it around the outside here of Mark Bow and get himself back up into 8th place? There's carnage here in terms of how congested it is on the track. Joam gets himself up into 8th place again. Enmorph leads us down towards turn 3, and we've got Kevin Gabers running in 2nd place ahead of Aldrich Avis. There's Little Greavy, Magpie, Big Weir, there's the Grieve. Joam down to 8th place. Mark Bow looking to try and keep Horatio behind him right now. Clarky Boy in 11th place, back on the lead lap. We've got Penguin Dude, Rednass and Raki there in 14th place in this race, but Enmorph has got the lead of the race at the moment, and Kevin's trying to stick with him for the time being. Aldrich Avis though waiting in the wings. It's going to be looming large in these guys' mirrors very, very shortly indeed. Little Greavy there in 4th place, just behind ahead of Magpie. You got Big Weir there waiting in the wings on Magpie right now, but Enmorph clinging on by the skin of his teeth ahead of Kevin and Aldrich Avis. Aldrich's now going to be sizing up Kevin. Look at this, only 0.2 of a second now separating these two. Joam really did blow his chance of gaining some points on Aldrich Avis here on this final restart. He's had his chances, he just has not taken them tonight. Joam managed to get the move though up the inside here of the Grieve, but they're going to be side by side up towards turn 2 should I say. Joam though is going to hold the inside line, and I think it's going to get that move done completed there on the Grieve. Aldrich has made the move on Kevin in the meantime, up into 2nd place. Joam has got the move done, as he know the Grieve is still there on the outside, and the Grieve's going to out drag Joam down towards turn 3. Got a much better exit out of the corner. Now Joam could be vulnerable to Mark Bow, but Mark Bow not close enough to make anything happen there. But Aldrich up in 2nd place, Joam down in 8th. It's been a nightmare of a night here for Joam, as he's now looking to make the move here on the Grieve. He's going to finally make this stick, is he, down the inside of the curve. Oh, he's going to part his Red Bull on the racing line there, and there's no way back for the Grieve, so he manages to make that move stick. And Aldrich Avis is making a move here for the lead of the race, but now the Kevin's going to try and get involved in this as well. Aldrich got lucky, had to get out of it there, as Morph was just obstructing his line a little bit there, but Aldrich Avis not able to make it happen. Great racing from these top 3 as they're going at it here in the final stage of this race. Enmorph has the lead. Aldrich now looking to the inside. He's going to try and make that move into turn 1. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that one happen at the moment. Can he get the run out of turn 1? Enmorph slightly better exit out of the first corner, but now up the hill. Aldrich Avis once again with that slipstream. As we can see, Kevin's dropped off on these guys a little bit now. Aldrich going to try and send one down the inside. Is he? No. Enmorph defends that inside line, covering off any eventualities there from Aldrich. Is he going to try and set one up here? He's going to look around the outside, and he gets a better exit there than Enmorph. Enmorph now is going to have to tuck back into the slipstream and try and use that toe and try and come back in him here. He pulls out now. He's looking back to the inside. Enmorph here looking to try and dive down the inside of Aldrich, but he goes a little bit deeper to the corner. Aldrich Avis now executes the undercut beautifully there, and Enmorph could be vulnerable to Kevin, as Kevin's now looking down the inside of Lauder Curve. Kevin can't get it done, but Aldrich Avis pulling off some great moves there. He's driving absolutely out of his skin tonight. He's been hit back with drive-throughs, with poorly timed safety cars, with all sorts of problems here. He's fought through every single one of them. He's never given up, and Aldrich now leads this race once again here with 5 laps left. I don't think anything can stand in his way now. It would take something monumental for Aldrich Avis to lose this race, but never say never. Lap 32 or 36, Joam with a 3-second time penalty for track limits, I would imagine. Enmorph still there in 2nd place ahead of Kevin. These two are cut about a second or so ahead of the Little Greavy at the moment. Magpie all on the back of Little Greavy, still ahead of Big Weir. Big Weir really got messed over by the safety car here. And Joam's out of the race. Joam's DNF'd. And we got another safety car. Oh my goodness. What do they do now? Is anybody going to come in for fresh tyres? I can't imagine they are. We're only going to have a couple of laps of racing. But the big news here, Joam, last season's champion, is out of the race. He has crashed out here on lap 31. He was a few laps away from scoring some solid points, and he's just blown it. And it will be nil par for Joam here tonight, and that is going to hand the initiative in this championship to Aldrich Avis well and truly. And if Joam's task was not looking insurmountable, it is now looking like maybe his chance at defending his title successfully may be gone, at least for this season anyway. It's early doors in the season yet. We're only 9 races in. We've still got 12 races left to go after this one, but Joram is making it very difficult for himself in this title race, and he will be kicking himself with that one. And he will be frustrated with himself over how he's driven tonight, because he's had his chances. He's had plenty of opportunities to try and get Aldrich Avis done in terms of the safety cars, in terms of the drive-through penalty for Aldrich Avis. There's been chances where Aldrich could have come undone and Joram really should have executed them, but it's all well and good saying that now, but it's not how the cookies crumbled. And Aldrich Avis with the lead of this race, with the race at his mercy. He's got Enmorph on the back of him. Can Enmorph take a few points away from Aldrich and help Joram a little bit in his title battle with Aldrich? Kevin there just behind these guys in 3rd place at the moment. Little Greavy running in P4 ahead of Magfire. You've got Big Weir in 6th ahead of the Grieve. Mark Bowen running in 8th place ahead of Horatio. Clarky Boy in the final points paying position. And you've got Rednass in 11th and Raki rounding out the field in 12th place. But the big news, Joram, last season's champion, DNFing here from the Austrian Grand Prix. Joram obviously took the title last season, went on an incredible winning streak, won about 5 races in a row in the mid part of the season, mid to late part of the season. Ended up wrapping the title up at Suzuka last season with 4 races left in the season. But Aldrich Avis looking like he's the one with the ascendancy in this championship so far this season. As it stands, will extend his gap to 50 points in the standings after 9 races. Who's left the session, unsurprising there, had already DNF from the race. 12 drivers left in the race. We had 20 start, there are now 12 left here. Plenty fallen by the wayside here tonight in Styria for this Austrian Grand Prix. It's been a dramatic one. It has really thrown up a few unexpected surprises. Safety car's going to be peeling off here, so Aldrich Avis just slowing the tempo down, backing them all up. Going to try and catch him off guard, going to try and get a bit of a head start here on this restart, I would imagine. What a shame for Joram though tonight. You've got to feel for Joram. Had the opportunities but wasn't able to take them. Who is going to win this race? That is the question. Aldrich and Kevin both on 7-lap old intermediate tyres. Aldrich's gone. We're underway once again. So here we are over the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. Little Greavy has managed to get out of Kevin. Kevin's lost out. Kevin's dropping back here. Kevin's down to 6th place. He's going to lose out to the Grieve as well. The Grieve down the inside up into 6th. So Kevin there having a nightmare of a restart. Aldrich's already got a 2-second gap over Enmorph, so looking like he's just going to skate away into the distance here for the final part of this race. Kevin's back up the inside, up into 6th place ahead of the Grieve. In fact, I don't know whether he was in the inside or the outside, but he's up ahead of him nonetheless. And Aldrich Avis looking like he's just going to cruise home for an easy last couple of laps here and take a very, very hard-fought win. Little Greavy there dropping down the order. Don't know what happened to him there, but he's down in 9th place here, so he's had a horrible restart. Magfire running just ahead of Big Weir at the moment. You've got Kevin there running in front of the Grieve. Mark Bo Horatio running in 7th and 8th places at the moment. But Aldrich looking to see this one out. And once again, the big talking point tonight, for those just joining us here for the last part of this race, Joram, the championship leader, not championship leader, reigning champion, second in the championship to this man, Aldrich Avis, who leads the way, has crashed out in the final couple of laps of the race. Massive shame for Joram. Aldrich Avis will extend his championship gap to 50 points after this round, and it's already looking like Joram's defence of his title is hanging by a thread at this early stage in the season. It's going to take a really, really strong second half of the season for Joram to turn this around, but he did it last season. We were saying the same thing this time last season. Game for Life had a 58-point lead at one point. I think it was around the Hungarian Grand Prix, so a couple of rounds on from this one that we're at now. Game for Life had a massive lead in the championship, and Joram went on a incredible run towards the back end of the season and ended up taking a championship. He won it by quite a big margin as well. Game for Life had a complete capitulation in the last part of the season, if you remember. But I don't think we're going to be seeing any such faltering from this man here, Aldrich Avis. He's got a few corners left to go here in Styria for the Austrian Grand Prix. The rain's starting to pitter-patter a little bit again, but Aldrich Avis certainly is not going to have his parade rained on here tonight. What a drive it has been. He's going to extend his gap up to 50 points in the championship. Aldrich Avis taking yet another win here. Over the line he comes in the Mercedes. The AMG boys are going to be jumping up and down. Aldrich Avis there with the victory. Enmorph takes second place here in this race. Magfire is going to come over to complete the podium ahead of Big Weir. He holds on there for that third place. Kevin, the Grieve, Mark Boak and Horatio coming over together in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places. The All Grieve, he holds on ahead of Clarky Boy for 9th. Clarky Boy comes over to take the last points paying position. Redass in 11th place and Raki 12th, and that is a wrap here for the Austrian Grand Prix here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game for Season 3, and that is Aldrich Avis taking the win. Joram, unfortunate to lose out in the way that he did, but he just didn't make the most of his opportunities here tonight. Once again, a big congratulations to Aldrich Avis. A big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the stream. 8 of you currently still with us. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like, guys. Let's get this stream to 10 likes if we can. That would be absolutely awesome. If you haven't already, join us up at www.motiveracing.com. Subscribe to the channel. We will see you in the next one. Join us on Sunday night for the PS4 and PS5 leagues for the GT3s on Assetto Corsa Competizione. We'll be live for that one. But once again, a big thank you. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you soon. Good night. Once again, a big thank you.
Water, so I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. going mainstream.